Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Jada Mechanic Podcast. So, last night I had on a Canadian guest, and tonight, to keep it balanced, because I want to be fair, I don't want to be divisive, and all that political bullshit. I've got two fine American gentlemen with me tonight, not just one, two. Our good old friend Check Engine Chuck.
How's it going, guys?
And Mr. Ryan Mullen, who is a new guest to the podcast, but we're very excited to have him. He is a man of high esteem, and we've looked forward to having him on here for a little while now. We wanted to do this recording at ASTA, and yet we just ran out of time. It was absolutely nuts. And I mean, both of you guys have been to ASTA last year. Ryan, I didn't even get a chance to talk to you at ASTA last year, and then this year, I only got a chance to talk to you a little bit. So I'll say for
Last year, the time change messed me up bad. Going back 3 hours and then having to wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm not a morning person, and that just was rough.
Yeah,
so I was a zombie last year.
I never really got a chance even to connect with you a ton this time, but I just want to say it really meant a lot for us that you attended both years, and especially this year. And I got a chance to meet you, so I think it's pretty cool.
Well, I love it.
Yeah,
I had so much fun.
Chuck brags about you nonstop, right? I mean, we kind of all have seen where you've come from to where you are. And I mean, it's just, that's the power of this. Like, we call this the power of networking on this episode, because I mean, it's like almost 20 years ago when I started talking on Facebook, this was the end goal for me, was to be able to have technicians from anywhere in the world, or at least in the country, be able to help one another out with trying to fix a car and then talk about the industry. And I mean, I always looked at it as, like, for the guys that don't necessarily have a mentor, it's even more important, right? Because I've been very fortunate. I've had good mentors in the shop, but somebody like you, that if you don't, this just opens up this ability for everybody. And I mean, I thought it was so cool. And Chuck is he brags about you all the time, man. So, hats off.
And I don't. The people that I work with, there's no one I can ask questions to at my work.
Yeah.
So it's big to have people that you can ask when you run into something that you've never seen before.
Yeah. It's crazy, Chuck, when we talked with Brian, same thing, right? Young guy in the shop by himself. Like, you're not in the shop by yourself, Ryan, but I mean, nobody else to field stuff to. Like, I forget that that's such a common thing in this industry. You know what I mean? I forget about it. I'm spoiled that I've always had at least one other person that I could bounce ideas off,
Right. I mean, I think a big difference between Brian and Ryan's situations, though, I know that's funny to say, Brian and Ryan's, but a big difference is that Ryan has the ability to stay there as late as he possibly wants, and the ability to work on anything he could possibly want to, as to where Brian is a lot more restricted at work for having the ability to do any of that, Yeah. So Ryan's lucky to have a leg up and be at that shop in order to devote all of his free time to learning how to diag better,
Yeah. So Ryan, can you kind of fill me in and fill us in, like, because I'm not really too familiar with what your shop situation is like. Like, I know that it looks, a couple of your lives, you've shown, like, I don't know, 50 cars in the parking lot.
Promotive started because a couple industry friends and I were hanging out, and we realized that the number one challenge all the shops that we worked with for many decades faced was finding technicians. You hear technician shortage over and over out there, and we're not bringing kids into the industry today, and there's thankfully lots of other companies out there who do focus on that, but we believe that part of the technician shortage is the leakage coming out of the funnel. The people that are working with shops or dealers that aren't treating them right, they're just paired with the wrong environment, with the wrong owners. The technicians, instead of looking for new jobs and new opportunities, decide to leave the industry, or they get jaded on it. And we believe that there's a fit out there for the right techs with the right shops. And if we do that, then they're going to stay in the industry, and we're going to help, at the end of the day, the shortage by keeping technicians in the field. Promotive started just by realizing there's really not that many resources for technicians. Of course, there's certifications that they can get, and they can advance their skill set by doing hands-on training, or they can advance their skill set by testing, but there's not that many companies out there focused on making the technicians more successful in other areas. For example, knowing what their career path can be if they don't want to stay as a technician in the future.
And they're all sitting there waiting for Diag. So, I mean, tell us about it.
So we have a lot of cars. And let me quickly tell you where I came from. So I sold parts for 20 years, mainly for BMW, also Mercedes, Volvo, Audi, and Infiniti.
Mhm.
And so from selling parts, I know the parts on the car, and I thought that would translate. And my boss, so then I have a pretty bad background. I went through a lot of hard times. I was homeless. Like
Yeah.
less than 5 years ago, I was living on the street with a sleeping bag. And then like a year later, I bought my first Snap-on toolbox. So when I first got back on my feet, I was living in sober living, and they make you get a job in telemarketing will take anyone. So I started telemarketing, and I figured out how much I hated that. So I did that to get a car, and then I needed my AC charge. So I went by my boss I knew from when I sold parts at BMW. I used to sell him parts, and he had just moved. He used to be at a gas station, like a little 2-bay shop that's attached to a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
So he used to be there, and then he had just moved to a bigger location with 4 bays, and it was just still him and one mechanic.
Yeah.
So he's like, I went there to get my AC filled, and I was not working anywhere at the time. And I'm like, he's like, I need a mechanic if you know anyone. I'm like, how hard could it be? I'm like, I know enough about the car parts. I'm like, it'll be fine. And
Yeah.
then like 15 minutes in, I'm like, this did not translate at all. The first job he gave me was like an airbag on a big Lexus SUV. And I'm like, how do you do this? He's like, look it up on YouTube. So I started searching stuff on YouTube, and that's how I learned how to do things. So yeah, it's
the service information system.
Yeah, we have alt data.
Okay.
But like, I didn't know how to use it. And like the instructions in there's not instructions for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff, there's really good instructions. Some stuff, it's limited.
Yeah.
So, and if someone's put a video on YouTube walking through how to do something, it makes it a lot easier. You just play the video as you work and pause it when you need to. And
yeah, you'll never see me run down that, because I still do that a lot now, because we're on Pro Demand. We don't have an Identifix, which is fine. I'm not missing Identifix like I thought I would. I still think it's a great program, but we don't have it. My boss doesn't pay for it. It's cool. But like, I mean, I'm still, I'm 50 years old, been doing this 30 years, and I'll still look a YouTube video up on how to pull a door panel off, right? Just because
because the screws are hidden on the door
right.
panel, and that's not in service information. I agree. Same thing.
Yeah. I always said, like, if I was a really smart guy, I would not be fixing cars. I would be like, because I'm an arrogant SOB, and I think that I can see all the problems that it's with service information. So I already should have come up with a better one by now, and it would have all been like AI and, virtual reality and all that. And of course, now Napa's unveiling something like that. So I fucking missed my opportunity again. But can we back up for a minute? So I kind of heard some of your story from the Toolbox Tours videos that you did, right? Which was pretty cool, because, I mean, I think I'd seen you on TikTok with Chuck and all that jazz, right? But I mean, when I started hearing that story about, homelessness to this, and obviously in the throes of addiction, all that kind of stuff, and I was just like, wow, that's pretty fucking amazing stuff. So hats off to you, because I mean, I haven't gone down that road myself, so I would be just full of it if I said, oh yeah, I know what it's like, because I don't. But I mean, you're a testament to, guts and fortitude on you,
the
man.
biggest thing about staying sober is keeping yourself busy. And like, that's why, my normal working hours are 8 to 7, Monday through Saturday. So that's a lot of hours as it is. And then I stay there. I go live every night after work, and I'm there till, lately it's been like 9. It used to be like 10, 11.
Yeah.
But still, and then I'm going to go in tonight. Today's Sunday. I'm going to go in tonight after this and go live for a little bit. And I got a car to diagnose.
Yeah. Like
he says 10, 11 his time. I used to be on there with him till like 3:30, 4 in the morning my time. So he would be on there till 1 or 2 in the morning sometimes. So
I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just looking at my phone, and you clowns being there. I don't mean clowns in a bad way, but you know what I mean? They're like, who else is trying to diagnose an Audi at 2 in the morning?
My name is Matthew Schwab, own Clutch Automotive. We have 6 locations here in the Houston area. Having a web-based solution is a game changer. I can effectively work remote. I can go to the soccer practice and then pick up right where I left off. I don't have to be in the shop. I can be home with the kids for dinner and just get work done afterwards if I need to. And so it's tremendously helped me as a father, as a husband. Being able to see my shop on my phone just keeps your shop moving and rolling. So if you're feeling busy now, implementing TechMetric is gonna increase your bandwidth and increase your time tremendously.
Like it's just, but good on you. Like good on you. So working that much hours a week, Ryan. Like I'm gonna ask, is the pay good or is it kind of? Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that you're.
That's why I haven't, like, this shop doesn't exactly fix cars the right way. Everything's fixed as cheaply as possible. That's what the customers want. That's what my boss wants. It's not the way I would fix cars, but anywhere else I go, I would be taking a pay cut.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, see the airbag thing. What's kind of the first? Chuck's heard me say it. What's the kind of the first light bulb moment that you had that you're like, wow, I might be able to actually have some proficiency for this kind of stuff, the diag side?
For sure. I know it off the top of my head. We don't do a lot of engines and heavy work. We have another shop that we send the stuff to.
Right.
So we had sent this, I think it was an '04 Highlander, Toyota Highlander, out to have the heads redone.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it together and it had timing correlation codes. And they could not figure it out. They tore the timing belt off this thing like 10 times, tried to line it up, and it still had correlation codes. I think we figured out eventually that they took too much off the surface of the head, and that changed the distance to the crank.
Yeah.
So that was the first car I used an oscilloscope. I checked the timing on the oscilloscope, and I literally, like, 6 or 7 mechanics had their hands in this thing. My boss said, if the car's not fixed today, I have to give the customer his money back. And it was a lot of money. And he said, take all day, do whatever you need to. If you can fix this car, great. And I ended up doing a bunch of stuff. I took the timing belt off and jumped it back a tooth on one of the cams,
Right.
and it ended up fixing it. And check engine light never came back. I was so hyped that so many mechanics tried to fix it, and they weren't able to, and I was. That's part of what lit the fire.
Chuck is sitting there grinning because
that's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Before you came on, we were talking about like how Chuck was talking about his mutant Subaru there, and I'm just like, I'm shaking my head because I'm like, you know,
I have the same response to that car.
I know why Chuck is doing it, because it's not about the money anymore. It's a pride thing, and then it's like a learning thing, and then it's like that endorphin kick that you get from being able to solve something that, like you said, 2, 3, 5, 10 other technicians have not been able to solve or wouldn't even touch.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been like, I've never gotten the kind of high that, you know, addicts get, but it's got to be similar. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah,
super similar.
Yeah, I can see how it would get addicting. That you guys would be 3 a.m, like just trying to get down there. You're just chasing that. I think it's so cool, man. And I got to say it again. I don't know you very well, but I'm proud of where you are, Ryan. Let me put it that way. Proud of where you are, and Chuck is too, because it's so many people don't make it, Ryan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't make it out, and it's crazy because like we talk about the mental illness side of this industry and what it can do to you, and for you, it saved you. Like that's so powerful.
Totally.
Chuck,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. It is. It's wild. You know, I do think that having the mind to have no problem losing an extremely high amount of money to figure these cars out is like it's part of chasing a high, you know? So I think that part of the mind definitely mixes together with it. I think you have to have a little bit of an addictive personality, because if you don't, you're going to be the tech that after 15 minutes of looking at a car can't figure it out. Go, I'm done looking at this. Just get a part, you know?
Ryan, what does your boss think of you? Does he think like you're some savant, you know, like, I mean, like some crazy...
He would trade me for a tire tech and a lube tech any day, or someone that shotguns parts.
Really?
He would trade me for 2 guys that'll shotgun. He would rather I just shotgun parts all day long. He doesn't see the value in it.
But that doesn't
frustrate. Usually the cars that make it to me have already had parts thrown at them by everyone else there.
Right. But then by people that you work with as well have already tried. Okay. Yeah. So that's a different wrinkle to that whole thing of trying to. So what the process is, like Chuck is sitting there nodding his head, is the process is the car should go to you first.
Yeah.
You do the diag and you delegate the repair to somebody else.
Just 2 days ago, my boss scanned. I hate to make this about bashing because I really like my boss, but like this FJ Cruiser came in with a bunch of ABS codes. That has the ABS module with the master cylinder and the pressure thing and the booster. It's all one unit. It's very expensive.
Like old
They
school.
scanned it, threw
Yeah.
that thing in there. It was like $900. They threw it in there, had all the same faults. So brings it over to me. I'm like, I need the original one put back in. This one's a different number. I think it's for an automatic car. This car's manual. So he sends it to the other mechanic, has him put the original one back in. The car needed a brake light switch. It was $20.
Yeah, I never heard the follow up on that.
Brake light switch fixed the car.
Oh my
It had a
God.
brake light switch correlation fault, and it compares the master cylinder pressure sensor to the brake light switch. And that's it.
Oh, man.
That just make me want to hit myself in the head with a hammer. That was so stupid. I don't take it like we're running down your boss. I'm not trying to say that. The challenges you're speaking of, Chuck and I have talked to lots of technicians that are in the exact same place. You know what I mean? Where they either don't want to spend the time, give you the opportunity, yada, yada, yada. You know what it is? And I don't know. It's sad to me though that you say that with a pretty straight face that your boss would trade you for a tire tech and a parts shotgun, because I mean you're a special guy already in this industry in terms of what you know in the short window that you've learned it, you know, and you're already influencing a lot of other people with your story and your ability and all that kind of jazz. And it's like, to think that this industry is not getting that it puts me in an angry spot, because that's who I advocate for, is guys like you guys, right? That's who I want to see be appreciated and paid like $1 million a year and all that kind of stuff. And it's frustrating to me when it's not happening, you know?
The thing that pisses me off is how often it works. Like they scan a code and throw a part at it. It works so often that it drives me crazy. Like I want to do the right process, check powers and grounds, check the signal. It takes me 2 seconds to scope a crank sensor, see if that's the fault. They would rather they get a crank sensor fault. It's getting a crank sensor before it comes to me.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Like,
Chuck, you know from being out there that a lot of the time then it is somewhat though like that, right? That you can kind of still, I mean, we say that, you know, DTCs are not part numbers, but they kind of are sometimes, right, Chuck? Like you can still go to a lot of cars and Chrysler evap, right? You know, it's got an evap fault. You know where you're going, right? You're going to go right to the ESM right away. But man, I understand both sides, because it's like shop owners. I talked to lots of shop owners, and Chuck, you've seen it too. They don't want a guy to spend 3 hours hooking a scope up and look at a crankshaft waveform if the thing doesn't start, or has a glitchy one or whatever. You know, 3 hours later, come and go, yep, it needs an $80 crank sensor. Like from the shop owner standpoint, that's real tough sometimes to justify, right?
that's the thing is when I get a car, so 80% of what I do is diags. Mostly almost all day long is I do diags. We have like four other technicians now. They can replace the parts.
Yeah.
If something's going to take me, if I spend more than an hour on something, I'll tell my boss, I'm like, buy more time. I'll do it at night. And when I do things at night, I'm not making good money on it. I make $100, $200 if I spend 20 hours on a car. But some of the cars I'll spend a half hour and make $100 or $200. It's definitely not about the money at night. It's about the experience and the learning and what comes with it.
Right. Now, can you kind of set your after hours schedule, Ryan, so that you don't have to take those cars on unless you want to? Or is it expected of you at this point?
No, I don't have to do any of it.
Good. Because I mean, Chuck and I have had lots of conversations in the past, haven't we, Chuck, about how, like, you know, we want to see you home and enjoying the family and the kids and all that stuff, right? Like, I mean, Ryan's got kiddies, I could see. So, I mean, you want to be home with the kiddies, but like, you know, it's important, because if you're not making money, I'm not going to lecture anybody that like, don't do this, you're not getting paid, because I spent a lot of hours unpaid because I just had to know, right? Same as you guys. But as I got older, I realized that it's like I missed a lot too, you know. So it cost me pretty much a relationship, which is, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't for the worst thing that ever happened to me that relationship ended, but it was a factor as I was working too much.
Right. It was still a cost at that point. I mean, me working for myself, it's it's not that bad because I take the kids to school. I'm around in the morning.
Mhm.
You know, they expect that I'm going to be out for the majority of the afternoon and stuff like that. And then because I'm out there working, we get to do a lot of really fun things together, you know, on weekends. Like the fall is apple picking,
Yeah.
and it was the Sunflower Festival at the end of the summer, and you know, all little things like that. So the Dutchess County Fair. So while they're little, I hope at least that makes up for it. But I definitely do lose a
Mhm.
lot more time than I would like to lose with them, you know?
Yeah. So Ryan, when you came to Asta, did the wheels fall off in the shop? Like, was it just an absolute like a shit pile to get back through when you finally got back? Like,
I mean, there's definitely cars waiting for me, but I mean, they'll just keep throwing parts at a car till they get it right. Otherwise, they'll just buy time. The majority of our cars are dealers and they come from auctions. And I
okay.
have a theory that most cars that are sent to an auction are sent there for a reason. It's because
Oh,
people don't want to deal with it. So cars like that, I have some time on.
bro, yeah, I can tell you all about
And
that. That's my employer right now is a used car lot, and that's all I do is you know, it's I keep going back to that Mazda that like, you know, the customers in the waiting room about to take it and they're finishing the detailing up and they go hit the push button to shut the thing off and it won't shut off. And then panic sets in because it's like, wow, here's been this electrical problem that this car has obviously had in its life, finally rears its head at the most inappropriate time, and everybody panics and is like, Jeff, go look at this. Okay. You know, and then I start yelling at the detailer because the parts of the dash are wet. And I'm like, what did you do? You know, where'd you put the water? And it ended up being nothing to that. It's just a, you know, a Ford or Mazda relay, how they stick sometimes and things won't shut off. Well, that's all it was. But like as I started looking in the car, little things around the steering column and everything, you could tell somebody had been apart and looked at the steering lock module and little things, right? That you guys know what to look for. You see it. And I'm like, that's why the car was traded right there. So, you know, but we fixed it. It didn't take me too long. It was $18 for a Mazda relay. It was available the next day. No big deal. But yeah, you're exactly right. You would get these cars from auction and you're like, what the hell happened? Was it hit by lightning or what? Like, you know, you guys had a lightning car yet?
I've never seen a lightning car. I've been told that I was repairing a lightning car, but didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in person. It's kind of like when we call like a unicorn text, like I don't mean it that way, but it's like a unicorn car,
Yeah.
you know?
I haven't had the pleasure yet, but a guy, my Bane mate of mine way back when had an old Intrepid that I hit by one. And it was like, it took out every module in the car. And I mean, so think about like, you know, early 2000s Intrepid, there ain't a ton of modules there.
Right.
They fried every module in the car.
So, I mean, my experience with that is when I've been, let's say it's happened maybe 3 times in the last like 2 years.
Mhm.
When I've been told that it's struck by lightning because they've replaced every module in the car,
Yeah.
it usually comes down to a broken wire.
Yeah.
You know, they just already have replaced every module in the car before they got to the module or the wire that was causing a disruption of CAN network, you know?
Yeah.
I have trouble in believing in them.
So is it, Ryan, is it a lot of high end stuff you're getting in, or is it just everyday kind of basic commuter stuff?
I mean, I work on a lot of BMW and Mercedes because that's kind of what I mean,
Auction. Yeah.
I kind of say I specialize in BMW because that's what I'm most familiar with, like the makes and models and engines and years, because that's what I spent the most time with. But I work on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good on you for liking that brand. I mean, it's, you know, not one of my favorites by any stretch, but
Most people don't like it.
I like driving them. I'll say that, you know. Did a high pressure fuel pump and a tune up in an Audi the other day. I was pretty proud of myself. But I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't all that complicated. It was like, you know,
That's the weird thing. I hate Audis. I love BMWs. I like Mercedes.
Yeah.
So it's not all German that I like.
Uh-huh. I'm just a redneck woodchuck, so give me like a pickup truck. You know, give me anything with a Dodge symbol on it or a pickup truck, I'm a happy boy, you know. Just give me Chryslers all day long. I love them. So, you guys, I know you think that's crazy, but
that is crazy.
It is. Ryan, did you see Chuck's DRB3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. That's older than, that's before my time.
I think, Chuck, I've got a DRB2 somewhere in my basement, and you've probably never even seen that.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's
Oh, wait. It's got the white writing on it. It says DRB. It's like a little black box.
yeah, little small thing about this big. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it's some people's TV remotes now, really, but that's
Right.
tiny. Yeah,
Never seen one in person, but yeah, you
was
struck my memory up.
all OBD1 stuff. So it was all DRB1, and that was the precursor to that was flash codes in the car. You guys probably don't remember those, do you?
No.
I still get old Toyotas that are flash codes.
Yeah.
3 of our dealers, all they buy is Toyota and Lexus SUVs, from old Forerunners to, I mean, like even the 90s Forerunners used flash codes.
Yeah. Ugh.
So
Yeah, but I love the DRB3. Like when Chuck was showing it to me, I'm like, oh man, I made so much money with that thing. It wasn't even funny. Like it was such a good tool back in the day. And back in the day, it would come with a scope module and everything. I never saw the scope module in any of the dealerships I worked in ever. Like it was a mandatory tool, but I never saw it. I never even saw anybody use it.
Never got busted out.
Never. I mean, what are they going to do with it, right? Like,
right.
We're flat rate dealer techs, right? We're shotgunning parts all day. Like we're, I'm
actually I didn't even look to see what card was in this thing.
You got a good one.
Super card. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing's mint, man. I got the screen is absolutely perfect. I know the screens tend to look like shit. The fan runs perfectly good. So,
so what years did they use that at the dealer?
Right up to like 2006 is when YTech hit. But they use that from you could even do some hookups on that would go back to OBD1 cars too. I always called them the weird cars, like the Sebring built the Mitsubishi built Sebrings. There's a lot of stuff that you can only do with that machine. You couldn't do it even with an emulator. Like you said, the old Cummins, the old 12 valve OBD1 stuff. There's pretty much you're stuck with that only. Like,
yep. Yeah, that's exactly what I bought that for.
Around 0506, Ryan, I think is by the time they were phasing that out pretty hard. They were bringing YTech in, and it was and YTech hit the ground running really well, but it had some big hurdles at the time, really, really big hurdles. So I know lots of guys were like they love the DRB3, but I don't even know. I should go back to my old dealer and just see if I can steal one. There's probably 2 of them sitting there somewhere, and nobody's used it in forever.
You should, because they're online for like $2,000 to $3,500.
Yeah,
I got lucky on that post. I saw that it was old, and the guy must have just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, and now Ryan, as we talk about beating up people online for tools and stuff, you got some pretty amazing stuff in your collection in a short period of time. Tooling and scan tools and your old red brick clock. Like I'd never even seen one of those before. When I saw that video, I thought that was pretty cool.
Those are not that old. Those Snap-on gave out not that long ago when you bought something.
Really?
But like the first, 2 or 3 years, I was in sober living, and it was like free to live there. So all my pay went to tools.
Right.
Like I would just buy so much stuff because I had no overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have overhead, so I don't buy as much stuff. But that's what I just tried to collect as much as I could while I could.
You're set up pretty good though, right? Like, I mean, you don't find yourself needing something. I don't think that I can't get a job done because or do you?
Right now I'm trying to make a key for an Audi, and I've spent $700 to make $300, and I still don't have what I need to make it. So it depends.
Dude, just let the boss buy the machine.
We lost the key. Oh, he won't.
No.
Our lube. My cat is just bouncing off the walls right now. Our lube tech lost the key. The dealership said $700. I said, sure, I can make it. And then I realized I didn't have the tool, and I like tools, so I started buying stuff, and now I'm in it real deep.
Yeah. So what's like, how do I ask this question? When you have to do that for your boss, is there some way that you can kind of get a little extra money, or is it just like, yeah, okay.
If something requires tools that I bought myself, I charge my boss.
Okay.
So that's not included in my salary.
Yeah. That's important because like at that point you're investing in yourself. He's not investing in a business.
Like if I program a car, I bought the J box, so I charge my boss instead of having someone come out and program cars.
Yeah. Yeah. You do a lot of that too, eh?
I wouldn't say a lot, but I do it.
Yeah.
It'll be every couple of months, mainly GMs.
Wow. So, when you do, like, how many different subscriptions are you purchasing, or do you kind of do it as you need it, or you
For
got like,
scan tools or OE
yeah,
stuff?
OE stuff?
Oh, I mean, well, GM, you just pay $50 when you need it, and then I'll charge him enough to make some on top of myself. But like my scan tools, I think I pay $3,000 a year just in subscriptions on my scan tools that are mine.
Yeah. And Chuck, where are you on that?
Oh, as far as subscriptions go, I don't even know.
That's a lot, eh?
It's a lot. I got a lot of different subscription. No manufacturer subscriptions. I'm not buying manufacturer subscriptions
Right.
like for a year period. It doesn't make sense to me to do that because I'll have a period where I have like, oh my god, I'm programming nothing but GMs, and I haven't done a Ford this year, and then all of a sudden the year roll over, and then it's like, oh, all right, it's all Fords this year, not GMs anymore.
Right.
So yeah, I just pay per session in whichever way that particular manufacturer is going to work because they're all different. If you pay by hour, you pay by VIN, you pay by 3 days, you pay by 2 days. But I mean, just on rolling scan tool subscriptions, probably right at that like $3 to $4 area.
Wow.
I don't update them all, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them I will never update intentionally. So
how did you guys kind of get hooked up on TikTok? Like, what was the kind of the first thing that, like, because Ryan, how long have you been on TikTok?
TikTok?
Yeah.
I mean, I was on TikTok before I was a mechanic. So
Okay.
I did TikTok, not car related stuff, but before I was a mechanic. And then I started making TikToks early in. So I've been a mechanic 4 years, so
Okay.
right about there.
Right. And Chuck, you've been around at least 4, right? Haven't you?
yeah, four-ish, I would say. I don't know if I'm maybe going on my 4th or 5th year.
Yeah, I'm the new one in the group here on that. I've only been in like just over a year, so that's pretty cool. But
No, you've definitely been in longer than that.
me?
Yeah, has to be. I've been to ASTA twice. We started talking
Uh,
way before the first ASTA that I went to.
It might be 2 years and a bit then,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think so.
not like, I mean, you were already really established. So was Ryan when I came into the bunch. But Ryan, how did you come about finding Chuck?
I was already going live like every day. I think it was a Sunday, and I was live and I was working on a car and I was banging my head against the wall. I spent like, God, I probably had 30 hours into that car, and I was just testing random wires because I was so lost on it. And then Chuck came into my live, and he was just in the comments. He was sick
I was sick as
and
fuck.
just watching my live, and he pretty much told me what I was doing wrong,
Right.
and it solved that car like in a matter. I had 20, 30 hours into it, and then it was fixed, and God, it wasn't that long.
I think if I remember, it was a Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the problem was that the DTC that was setting when you went into service info, you could find out that the DTC sets when you key the car off,
Okay.
not when you key the car on.
Right.
And that was the big
Yeah.
hang up was that little piece of service information.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool, eh? To be able to just find somebody that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I met a lot of people. That's how Chuck and I first connected, was I was just watching his stuff, and I don't think he was live. I think he was just doing things, and I would comment, and then I'd have to go back to whatever I was doing, and then I would check the comment later, and then, he'd be like, I can still remember it was early on, it was about a power probe. I'm like, oh, fuck, I hate that tool. I hate that tool. And he's like, why do you hate that tool? And I'm like, oh, man, I've watched so many good technicians, go down rabbit holes on that, and not knowing that. And I wasn't trying to put Chuck in that class of guys that get tricked by that tool, but I was like, oh, I just seen, and yeah. And then we just that's how the conversation opened up, and he showed me how good that tool can actually really be. And then he's also, he understands a little bit better just why I don't grab it first. It just, for me, it's, the old school $3 test light is the tool to grab. I don't have a load cage yet. It's coming. So
It's good. Yeah, now that the post strike is coming to a restful moment.
we won't say it then, but they'll take a break and go back to work for a little while. Maybe I'll get my load cage. But yeah, but I mean that's old way for me of doing it. Like I talk all the time. One of my first bosses, he took my DVOM away and he wouldn't give it back to me until I could come to him with the test light results, and then he would give me the DVOM because that's just what he believed was the right way, and it served me well. But oscilloscopes, like I have one. I never really use it. So I use it for relative compression test, and that's about it. So I don't grab it for circuit tests at all. So
The good thing about what I do is I only work out of my bay. I don't work anywhere else. So I have my Pico set up with my computer right there, and I have a boom. I just flip it out. I can put it on the car. It literally takes me 2 seconds to scope a
yeah,
car.
I've
Like a
seen
lot of people, it takes them so much time to set it all up, get out of the box, hook it up. Like Chuck has to dig it out of his van. I can pull in a car and check 4 circuits at the same time faster than I can set up a multimeter. So
yeah,
that's why I have so much practice with it, and it's so different.
yeah,
If I was working outside, I'm not taking my scope with me. I'm taking probably a power probe.
yeah,
I'm on Chuck's side with the power probe thing. The biggest thing about power probes is you got to understand circuit design.
yeah.
Like that's
100%.
one thing that really. So one thing I didn't talk about is when I first got into being a mechanic, I realized quickly that no one around me knew what they were doing, for lack of a better way of saying it. And that's when I found Scanner Danner and
Yeah,
Paul. I binge watched everything that Paul's recorded on the internet over a span of like 4 months, and it like turned a switch in my head.
yeah,
Like just, and the most important thing was understanding circuit design. Like once you understand how circuits are laid out and how everything is, it's really hard to fry something with a power probe. You're not,
yeah,
where not to send power
yeah. Oh, 100%.
and
It's
or ground for that matter.
to me, the idea that they used to say, no, you can't have a jumper wire, no, you can't have a power probe is like, if you can't trust the person with that tool, you shouldn't even be trusting them with the job, right? That's just a simple way it is. Like, do we really want to have to be like turning kids out with a DVOM because that way we're pretty sure they can't screw anything up? No, like they should already understand enough that we can give them any tool and they're not going to hurt something, right? I mean, nobody's perfect, but sometimes service information is written as wrong. But yeah, Scanner Danner is like, man, I've been friends with that dude for well over a decade now, and talking to him, and yeah, he doesn't realize. I mean, he's starting to realize, but he doesn't realize the effect that he's hit. You know what I mean? His footprint in this industry right now is arguably bigger than anyone else's. I would argue that from the old school guys back in IATN way back when to up to now, I don't think anybody's made the impact he has. And the coolest thing is he never even wanted to or tried to. That was what was so cool about Paul. Is he was just like, I'm filming these videos for my students, and that was it. And it just took off. I can remember early on there was him, and there was Ivan from Pine Hollow, and there was Eric O from South Main, and there was a guy named Daniel Sullivan, which makes the Load Pro tool. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Mm-hmm. And I remember Daniel Sullivan was kind of like, on the outside, he was looking at like everybody. He was a very upset guy, and he was very pissed off because his patent was stolen. And he threw the gauntlet down and made a challenge to like Paul Danner and Eric O and Ivan to do like a diagnostic shootout. And he literally got lambasted on YouTube to where he pulled his channel down for a long time and didn't have any kind of interaction with anybody. And I felt really sad for the guy because like, he's super smart and he really knows what he's talking about, but it's always about that tool. He designed it. He's 100% convinced it is like, it's the same as the Power Probe guys, right? They're convinced that tool is the best tool that's ever been built. I'm not going to argue that it ain't, but it was a completely different tool than Daniel. And what Daniel was doing was pulling everybody in from that Power Probe camp or this other camp or whatever and saying, no, it's all wrong. My tool is the best ever and I'll prove it to you. Well, he caused career suicide. So, but when he called out Paul, I was like, whoa, you've just stepped over the line there, dude. Like, so.
I'm glad there was beef before TikTok.
Dude, I can tell you somebody that was like on IATN before I was on Facebook, there's always been beef. Beef's never going to go away, man. Beef is, and you guys laugh because you know what it's like. We've seen it, right? Like,
Yep.
But like, Ryan, how do you handle it with the detractors and the, because Chuck knows me. Like, if somebody's not a tech and they start spouting off at me, like, I want to get in my car and go find out where they live and like punch their teeth in. Like, I'm that way. I'm just wired that way. How do you guys?
I'm not big enough to get it. I only have 20,000 followers. I very rarely post videos. When I go live at night, there's like 10 people there.
Yeah.
Sometimes 20 if I'm on a good night. But like, it's mostly people trying to help and people that are helpful and
Yeah.
the same people. So I don't see it as much as other people do.
But Chuck knows, because it's like when he first brought the load cage out, everybody's like, oh, you don't need that tool. You only need a DVOM. And I'm like, oh, my God, here we go. I got to give this, like, I've been giving this lecture for 10 years on why one, surpasses the other. And Chuck's doing the same thing. And I'm just like, God bless you, man. I'm bowing out of this one because
some of my favorite comments was, it was like, it must have been commented 100 times. Some form of, so you reinvented the Tesla, with like a clown face. And I was, at first I was like, well, no, that's not what and then I thought about it. I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah. I reinvented the Tesla. Fine.
Yeah. And, to your credit, it's probably been the best built test light in terms of what a mechanic has always really wanted in a test light, right? Was one that
I appreciate that.
A, didn't burn my hands. B, I could get rough with it and it wouldn't break the bulb. C, I had way more options, just like a pointy end on one point or a alligator clip on the other. Like it's a very effective, efficient tool. That's what I love about it. Like it's, it just, yeah. I've never seen that.
I still use mine every day.
Yeah.
Like every single day.
I would see the concept like, oh, you shouldn't use a Tesla. It's going to blow up the module. And you shouldn't use a Tesla. You should only use a DVO. And I'm like, oh, shut up. You don't fix cars. It's obvious. And Chuck would laugh at me. Like, we'd be talking. He's like, oh, why do you let them why do they bother you so much? And I'm like, dude, it's just the way I am, man. I can't help it. Like, I just, I can't entertain fools. And when I know that they don't do what we do, I don't even want them in the fucking conversation. Like, they can just, the adults are talking, go fuck off. Like, that's how I think. And it's just, I've been a prick online for a long time. So trying to not be a prick, I do pretty good until certain subjects come up. And then it's just like, no, you're wrong. I don't even want to tell you why you're wrong. You're just effing wrong. You don't run into that though, Ryan. You just let it roll, man.
It's rare. And I'll just ignore it.
There's a couple people that used to constantly come after all of us in the same comments. Yeah. There's the one guy that told us that we don't know what we're doing because we don't measure anything in microsiemens. Like, what the fuck?
What the hell is a microsiemen?
I still don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't want to know. Like,
I think he's trying to talk about milliohms and using a milliohm meter, but like calculating the length and the diameter of wire, or that's what it is. You got to know the length of the wire and the diameter of the wire to find the surface area of the wire to find the exact resistance. How is that any way better than load testing a wire?
Does this gentleman not realize though the different, like an?
He tried to say service information says the length of all the wires.
And an 18 gauge wire built by one person does not necessarily have the same surface area as an 18 gauge wire of another manufacturer, let alone the conductivity of the two different brands is not always the same either. So his fucking theory is bunk. Whereas here's my theory. Does the test light fucking light? Yes.
Right.
Fine. Next.
You want to know the best part too? This is the people that are commenting these kinds of things. You go to his page and you first he tells you and you think that he's an aircraft mechanic. So you're like, okay, I know aircraft mechanics can be a little odd at times. Yeah. And then you start going through his page and he's not. He's a aircraft simulator mechanic. He fixes the aircraft simulators that pilots go into and train in.
That's like, you guys have seen that meme where it's like I'm a sniper, but only online when I play Call of Duty.
Right, yeah.
It's like that.
It's just funny.
I had a guy last week, and it's like he told me he owned 2 dealerships or 2 repair shops, and I go to his Facebook profile, and he literally has like woodworking crafts and a bunch of chickens.
Makes sense.
And I'm like, He's like, oh, you don't put everything that's in my life online. I'm like, oh, okay, dude.
Right.
I don't know what it was arguing about. Something related to how a circuit worked her car or something. And I'm like, he's trying. Oh no, it was a business question based on, how would you handle this in the automotive realm or something. And I think it was probably like free diag or something like. And I'm like, you know where I am on that, right? Like, no, that's the devil. But he's like, oh no, you should do that. It works for me. And I'm thinking, you got chickens and fucking pallets that you've made into ashtrays. Like, I don't care what you think about the business of auto repair. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, sorry, I'm cussing a lot. I shouldn't cuss. But that's the challenges of online. The tool thing, Ryan. When the guy contacted you about toolbox tours, how did that, like? Were you surprised that they knew who you were?
No, I reached out to him.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I found his channel right when he made it, and it was so at first when I first started, I was super into tools.
Mhm.
Before I moved to being super into diag. So like I spent like a year just being obsessed with tools, and I found his channel, and he had said, like, message me if you're interested, and or if you want to be on the channel. So I messaged him, and then a couple people that he went to see say that they found the channel because of me, because I used to talk about it on TikTok all the time. And so he had heard my name a bunch of times, and then when he finally came out, I mean, it'd been a bunch of people had brought my name up in different episodes saying, I saw this that Ryan had, I saw this that Ryan had.
Right.
So it's like he'd heard of me a bunch of times.
Yeah. Where is he based out of?
Utah,
Okay.
I think.
All right. Yeah, because you're in California. You're like,
Yeah, so he's been all over the country.
yeah, very cool. Where Chuck's not that far from me, like a few hours, and I would be at Chuck's place. Or I say few, it's probably like 5. I could be there, but so. But yeah, because I saw that and I've seen some of his channels, and it's been very cool, like his videos on his channel, because it covers the whole realm, right? From young guys starting out to when you got in. Was that kind of the allure? Was the big toolbox and the tools and like what's no?
I mean, I grew up working on stuff in the garage with my dad and stuff like that, and like we were into dune buggies and dirt bikes and going to the desert and all
Right.
that. So I'd grown up with tools and stuff, and then I mean, I quickly realized that when I first started, I bought as much cheap stuff as I could, Harbor Freight, Amazon, whatever, and then just like it was like a year before we got a Snap-on truck, and then I just started replacing the cheap stuff with good stuff and a lot of YouTube and just learning stuff that's out there, and
Yeah.
just I don't know. I've always liked tools, so
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
slowed down a lot.
Are you the expert like the Mr. Subaru is?
No,
That guy's.
oh, he's got all kinds of. He's got so much more stuff than me.
Yeah. I'd like to. I wish that. Now that would be a good episode if the Toolbox Tours guy is watching or listening. If you could get Mr. Subaru, Robert Lazenby on, that would be pretty sweet. So
That would be sick. I still talk to him all the time. The guy from Toolbox Tours. His name's Dustin. He's a super nice guy. I had so much fun talking to him and just hanging out with him because he's after we filmed the episode, he's there for like another 4 hours doing B-roll stuff. So like we did a lot of talking and a lot of filming, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Chuck, what was when you first had an interaction with Ryan? What did you see right away?
To be honest, I don't remember why I followed Ryan. Obviously because he's in the industry and stuff, but I can't remember. Like I remember, okay, I followed this guy, and he posts tool hauls, and I never see his face. So I got familiar with his name from seeing him in my comments and stuff, and I think I was sick, and I was scrolling live or something, and I saw him dealing with that Honda, and I was like, oh, this looks fun. I'm like, maybe I could help someone over the phone. Like I mean, I help people over the phone all the time, but maybe like while he's on live, I could help him like on the live. Wouldn't that be cool? And we started, talking for a bit there, and then I had to go do something, or I felt like shit or something. I was really, really sick. So I was like, all right, well, let me know what you find. Maybe I'll pop back later. And I think I came back like 2 hours later or something like that.
I don't have that good of a memory.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
So
remember
yeah,
the car, but that's about it.
okay. So I came back like 2 hours later, I think. And at that point, I actually started pulling up service information and shit. And that was how we got down to it. And then I don't know how the hell. I think I just started
Yeah, I think you just went. I made a video about it, and then I think you saw that video and you commented on it, and then I think you just kept popping into random lives, and you would come in there and see what I'm doing, and if it was interesting, you'd be in the comments talking, and then it went to eventually. I mean, for a while there, you were in my live like every night. We were diagnosing cars. That
Yep.
was,
Yeah.
I think that was last summer because your kids were off of school, and you could kind of stay up and not have to wake up early in the morning.
Yep. That's what it was. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I just started popping into his lives, and then I convinced him to come on to Snapchat, and it was all over from there.
Yeah.
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 So you rooked him into Snapchat too, then that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Ryan, what Chuck said to me really recently is that, like, he said you eclipsed, not, he didn't really say you eclipsed him, but he's never seen like the trajectory from anybody he's ever met the way you brought it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. He's
I'm not in his lives anymore because he doesn't need me
Yeah.
anymore.
No, I appreciate it. I've definitely learned a ton from you. I mean, I definitely didn't know about reading service information as much before Chuck started helping me. I mean, Chuck still helps me find stuff in service information that I can't
Yeah.
find. But I I mean, just from him being in my life for a series of months, I learned enough to figure out almost anything now. I mean, it's rare that I get stuck on a car unless it's like a one-off situation that's like super crazy.
And now we're consistently bouncing ideas off of each other,
Yeah.
in Snap and shit, since I'm not on live.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Tundra.
that's the difference. Is we're talking all day now. Back then, we would talk at night on my live, but now me and Chuck got me onto Snapchat when he was building the load cage.
Yeah.
Because you had asked me about when you were making the letter to send out with the load cage. That's when we started talking. Because
Okay.
you sent me a copy of the letter. You're like, "How does this look? Do you have any suggestions or anything?" And then he's like, "I want to get some guys on Snapchat and build a group of just people that do this stuff." And we each got a bunch of guys to Snapchat and made a group and started talking. This group's no longer around, but just having all these like-minded people that were all smart in different areas, different techs from different dealerships, and just like being able to pull out your phone and say what your problem is, and 10 other techs from around the country that have specialties in all different kinds of stuff. Someone's seeing whatever you're running into.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people have that where you can just reach into your pocket and talk to like the smartest techs you've ever talked to, a whole
Yeah.
group full of them.
It's powerful stuff, man. It really is. I spent so many years on Facebook, but I wasn't doing it that way. I was a bit of a person that was a little lost in the sense that I was like always trying to qualify the people that were in the conversations before I would help them. You know what I mean? And that's why I have so much respect for Chuck, is because he comes from a completely different spot. And the more Chuck and I talk about it, the more I understand exactly what he means. Like, he said it to me several times, and I'm like, oh no, I don't get it. But it's starting to really sink into me, where it's like it's not even my right or my place to be qualifying them. And I'm pushing a lot of people away, and I have pushed a lot of people away that I shouldn't have, because I was like, people thought it was coming from a place of ego. It wasn't coming from a place of ego. It was just like, I had this impression that everybody was lazy, right? Because it was like, I thought I was the hardest worker in the room and everybody else should just be like me. And I realized that that's not the case. Like that, yeah, I work hard, but I also have an aptitude for it that some people just don't have. And Chuck and I, can you teach that aptitude? And I think you're an example, Ryan, of somebody that we can and have been able to, right? And that's why when I think now of the way I've acted in the past, I'm a little, resentful of how I behaved, because I've pushed a lot of good people away, and it sucks. I'm trying to make good on that. I'm trying to do better. So, but
That's the thing is when Chuck came into my live, he was trying to get a gauge on if he could help people like that, like remotely help people diagnose cars. And I think it made him really easy with me because he could tell me to check a wire and go to this connector, check this wire, and know that I checked it because he's there with me. But like when you're telling some random person across the country to go check this wire from end to end, load test it, check the connector pin tension, all this stuff.
Yeah.
You have to kind of know their capabilities to know that they checked it right before you move on to checking something else.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've ran into with trying to help other people. Is if I go to Ryan and I go to, or I say, all right, go to C127B pin 6. It should be black and red. Let me know what you see there. He would go, okay, and he would do it. Or if he didn't know where it was, I'd say it's the left kick panel, third square connector up, 20 pin or whatever. He'd be like, okay, and he'd find it like that. There's some people, if you're on the phone with them, that one step might take an hour.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
And for me, it was a situation of it's like, I'll give you this example. I've used it before. You would say, go check the grounds, and they would walk over and wiggle it. Like, no, that's not okay. Like, let's think about the other way. Like, okay, yes, it's hooked up. Is it good? Like, there's a way to test that. And it was just little things like that. And then you see me always trying to face palm myself because that's a thing I do a lot. It's like, oh, like what, and eventually, yes, I had to back up, slow down and say, no, like go grab a test light and test that. Actually check it, and it took a while, man. It took a while to like, you got to slow down to go fast, like you got to be that way. And it was, but people were like, oh, I checked the wiring. What did you do? Well, I just physically checked it. Like I didn't visually check it. Like that's
it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Right.
Wheels on, it's good. So what was I thinking? That's been the struggle for me, is trying to because the way I communicate is very concise and abrupt and gruff, and I'm still learning. This has been very good for me to learn how to communicate more effectively and not be an a-hole. But the a-hole does come out a lot still. It's tough, What do you see, like this networking thing with you guys? What other benefits do you see to it besides the fixing cars thing? Like, do you have conversations away from fixing cars now that you would have?
Yeah, constantly. I mean, so there is that aspect of just having a group of like-minded people as well. You are instantly like-minded. Like so I used to hang out at this shop, and we used to joke around that none of us that hung out at this shop had. This is when I was a kid, 18. That none of us had anything in common, except that we all enjoyed the devil's lettuce and we all liked cars. Yeah. And because of that, we had a group of 20 friends that we're just completely different people, but we're perfectly cool, all hanging out at the same time,
Right.
That's one thing. When I first went into sober living, I didn't have a friend in the world. I didn't have any friends anywhere. I'd gotten distance from everyone I used to talk to. And
right.
Even when I was first became a mechanic, I had no one. And now there's about 30 people that I talk to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether like all the people that watch my live, we started a group together and we all talk. And then all the people that are like-minded diag guys, we all talk. And it's more friends than I've ever had in my life. Like even I had a large friend group in high school, but like nothing like this, like 30 people or so many people that I talk to on a daily basis, all stemming from TikTok. Like these are all people that I've met off TikTok just from going live at night. So many people come by there, hang out, help with the cars, come back almost every night and just hang out in the comments.
And then I want to say, when again, I don't mean any disrespect. I know a lot of people I've talked to that have come from addiction is that once they get off of that, a lot of their people that they thought they were friends were not really their friends, right? They were just people that they were getting high or drunk with.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think a lot of people, is what we don't even talk about, is how hard it is to leave that behind. You know what I mean? Because you're fighting that. And again, I'm talking like I've been through it and I haven't. So correct me if I'm wrong.
You're pretty on top of it.
It's like you're trying to get that devil off your back. And at the same time, you're feeling like you're either deserting some friends or you've been deserted, right? I think that's what pulls a lot of people back. And I don't even think a lot of the time it's the substance that pulls people back to addiction. It's the people that you were comfortable with being what you were, So
that's the thing, is when you start to get into addiction, you lose all the friends that you had before that. And then once getting out of it, I stopped talking to the people that I was friends with during it that are obviously not the people that I should be hanging out with.
Yeah.
So then you lose, like when you first get out of it, you lose everybody because you're not talking to anybody. And that's what TikTok has brought back, is just a group of people that are not going to take me back to that.
And not judging you either. You
Yeah.
know, because I've been a judgmental dick about some people's addiction because, like, I really have been because so you gotta to know where I am, you have to understand like it's the prison capital in Canada. Like there's more prisons per capita in my little area than there is anywhere else in the country. Like we had at one point we had like over 10 that I could within a 5 mile radius of me. So there was a lot of addiction, a lot of criminals, right? So we all from a very young age were very familiar with and Ryan, please don't think that I'm saying that every addict is a criminal. But you know what I mean? Like the two of them are a lot of people when they go to crime, they do it because of addiction. So
100%.
so it was like I was not always the most sympathetic to that plight that a lot of people have been through. And I realize now that a lot of people when they go to addiction is because they're self-medicating trauma and then they lead to crime or the crime they find crime or whatever. And so it's been through meeting a lot of people that have been through it and got through on the other side that have it's been a lot of awakenings for me guys in the last couple of years to really understand better. And I'm blessed that I've been able to meet people that have come out of it because it's very easy. My brother worked in the correctional system, so it's like he has seen, the ugliest of the ugliest, the worst of the worst. And there's necessarily people that are not like dealing with their shit. So you immediately put them in this particular category. And I would do that. And I never even worked with these people, but I would be exposed to it through him. And now, I'm starting to meet a lot of people that I would have never knew had that in their background. And I used to think that like those people were always going to be those people. I gave up hope on them. And then I meet some amazing people that have come through it. And I'm like, wow.
It's definitely not easy to change.
Yeah.
Like not at all.
Yeah. It's powerful stuff, man. Anybody that does it, my respect because, I know I have little vices and I mean, it's like, I know how hard that is for me to like not eat a cheeseburger every day. You know what I mean? Like, I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. It's nothing like that. I mean, it's 10 times, 100 times worse. But I know how easy that gets in my head, and I can't even imagine anything else. So the people that have been through it, that are listening, you have my utmost respect for sure. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big achievement. It's the one thing I think that everybody that's come through should be really proud of is that you made it through. That's the
and then in Ryan's situation to succeed to the point that he succeeded to in 4 years. It's crazy.
Like when I saw the Toolbox video and he's like, they're like, oh, he's been a mechanic for years. I'm like, this motherfucker ain't been a mechanic for 4 years. Like he's been paid to do it, but he's been fixing shit forever. But that's not really the case.
Chuck called me a liar too. When me and Chuck first started talking, so he's like, he didn't believe that I'd only been a mechanic for like 2 or 3 years at that point.
Yeah.
And then I had mentioned something like, I was talking to, I actually still remember this. I was talking about cash for clunkers, and I was talking about, like, remember back then when we used to pour the stuff in the cars and used to destroy them? And he's like, I knew you were lying about being a mechanic that long. You've been doing it way longer than you said. I'm like, no, I sold parts, and I remember it back then, but I swear I haven't been a mechanic that long. And like, I did little stuff with my dad when I was younger, but not like I'd done brakes and like tires and stuff like that. And I've rebuilt a 2-stroke dirt bike engine, but nothing on cars.
Yeah. So when you were starting that as a teenager with your dad or as a young kid, why did you not pick up on that as a career? Like, why'd you go a different route?
I don't know. Now that I've done it, I regretted it.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was in high school, my best friend's dad owned a used car dealership for BMW and Mercedes, and it had a full service department and it had a wrecking yard for used parts, like a full yard of cars. So in high school, I needed a job. He's like, go down there and start delivering parts. So I was a parts driver when I was in high school, and then I started selling parts there. And then when that place closed, I went to the BMW dealership to sell parts because that's what I'd been doing for 4 years at that point. And that's how I got selling parts. I just did that for a long time.
What did you think of the dealership experience from the technician standpoint that you would watch them? Because I know, like, you hear me rip sometimes. Like I tell the story, I've grabbed parts guys from across the counter by the throat. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of bad parts guys. There's a lot of useless parts guys. When I worked at BMW, we had a core group of like 5 guys who were there for over 10 years. We were all really good. But I've worked with some guys that didn't know a brake rotor from a gas cap. They just knew how to pick the numbers in the system and charge them out.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you find their technicians were like? Like, did you ever see yourself and go, I wanted to do that?
Not really.
No way. That's crazy.
No.
Here's the thing with that too, though. At Ryan being 16, 18 years old, the cars weren't where they are today, and I think that he's got the type of brain that jumping into it when the technology is so advanced compared to if he had started, maybe he would have been burnt out by
Yeah.
the time this technology was here, and he wouldn't have the capability to be where he got in only 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, because you must
the technology side of it is the part that draws me in.
really.
Like the module stuff and the scope stuff and the cloning and programming and all that kind of stuff is the stuff that pulls me in.
Because I mean, like Chuck and I, we've both been kind of that jaded mechanic, in the dealership environment where we hated life and we were getting taken advantage of and not valued and everything. But did you see that from or were they kind of that same way, or did they kind of were a little more chill because of the product they're working on?
So I did wholesale parts, so I didn't have a ton of interaction with the technicians. Like on Sundays and stuff, I would help technicians, but most of the time I was selling to shops.
Right.
So I didn't have that much of an interaction with them to like really get into it. Like I could tell who's a good tech and who's not a good tech, but I couldn't tell how they were being treated or if they liked it or anything like that.
Yeah. So you've never worked in a dealer. You're a lucky guy. Yeah. I mean, like as a technician in a dealer.
Yeah. And I'm very anti-dealer for someone who's never worked in a dealer. Like I'm anti-flat rate and I'm anti-dealer. I think it really helps you to work on all brands.
Yes.
I think guys get sucked into one brand and they just do what the computer tells them and the service information tells them. And like flat rate punishes people who want to learn new things and expand and chase issues and stuff like that. It encourages people to take shortcuts, and I'm just not. I don't know that I would never. Originally, I wanted to go work at a BMW dealer. I wanted to be a BMW tech, but now I could never go work at a dealer.
I think you could kill it though. I think you've got the right.
You'd be so bored.
Yeah,
you'd do like 10 recalls in a row, or like
that's the big thing is recalls. Like I have a buddy who's a BMW tech, and they're replacing ABS units like they're going out of style. I'm like, I could not do that 100 times in a row.
Yeah, it becomes. I remember the Takata airbag recalls in a Nissan. I had them down to where I was doing them in 22 minutes, both the airbags. And I was like, people were like, and I wasn't the fastest guy. We had a guy that was doing it in 18 minutes, right? Like we'd literally time ourselves, like 18 minutes, both are done. And the job paid like 1.3. Like it still wasn't a great paying job, but you're like, I got it down to 18 minutes. Like it was cool. But you would do sometimes 6 in the morning and 6 in the afternoon. So yeah, it just became like, how fast can I do this? And then that's the thing I see it where it's like, guys do that with brake jobs, guys do that with control arms, guys do that with like alternators, starters, and then so you get so where it's so fast that like I know I did it. I could grab the part and put it on faster than I could diagnose some of the parts. So like, yeah, I remember doing it. Caravan cluster, I could pull the caravan cluster of the one in the bay next to me so fast I didn't even bother to look up the wiring diagram. I could just yank it out so fast and plug it in to see, hey, look, there it is.
Right.
Or shit, it's still not turned on. Fuck, go get a Tesla, And that was the thing, but it was just the way you did it because, again, speed was everything. But I'm right there with you. Like, everybody knows by now, where I sit on it, where it's like, I'm not even against flat rate. I'm against flat rate where it's the only option for us. And I'm against flat rate when it's like, as soon as you get whatever this level in the dealership you're put there, you have no choice. I'm not for that. I think it's like, if you've been in there 10 years and you really know the product and you want to like bang out some work, yeah, go ahead, do it. Right. So you finally, through the math channel, figured out that you had anomalies with the crank sensor.
Right.
And then,
which you could not see no matter how good you look at this. This is, it's quite literally the power of the Pico scope. Nothing else would have figured out this problem except for someone just going, let's get new spark plugs, new coils, new injectors, a new ECM, a new crank sensor, 2 new cam sensors, get all 4 of the VVT sensors, get new intake gaskets, get new valve springs, get new head gaskets, Yeah. So the power of the Pico unveiled that we could see these anomalies, and they were hitting with about the same repetition of which the last symptom of it is that it would very occasionally just throw a hit of a misfire on a single cylinder, and then I would throw a hit and then another hit. And eventually, while running, no matter temperature, they would count up to enough to become a pending code.
Right.
So I knew that it would become one that would illuminate the light if the customer took it and we said it was good, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
I know I've heard people talk about that exact same scenario with Chryslers with using the aftermarket crank sensors. Like it will count misfires, but not actually misfire. You know what I mean? Like something that you can feel, but it counts them. And it's just like I've seen the waveform captures. I didn't capture them. That is not my realm. And they would show you the difference of like, see how it's just got a little bit of saw on the top of it. And that's enough for the ECM to detect it. And, you know, it's why one of those things where everybody says the aftermarket one's different windings, the amount of windings in the sensor, what they don't know. It just doesn't seem to work. But I mean,
so that's the craziest part of all this too, is I was talking with Ryan. He pulled up the math channel and I saw the anomalies, and you know what fixed it? I didn't let him keep this in it, but you know what fixed it? A Duralast fucking crank sensor that looked exactly like the aftermarket that I pulled out of it.
Yeah.
The aftermarket wasn't seated incorrectly. It was seated in there properly.
Okay.
But the AutoZone crank sensor was my confirmation that we found the problem. I made him put a Toyota one in it because it was 2 days before I left for ASTA.
Right.
So he did put a Toyota one in before the truck left, but a Duralast aftermarket sensor gave me enough info to know that the Toyota one would 100% never have a misfire come back.
Had somebody put a crank sensor in it already, or was it just a failed? Yeah.
I ended up finding after I saw that after he showed me that math channel, I went down, I took the shield off of the crank sensor, I pulled it out, and I went, fucking things aftermarket. God damn it. And this was the aftermarket throttle body caused the first symptoms. The mix match of aftermarket coils had the IGF all over the place.
Yeah.
The O2 sensors, the air fuel sensors were making it misfire worse before we got to the crank sensor. But then they were
the throttle body.
You know what? Yeah, the throttle body. And the upstream, this is even crazier. The upstream air fuel sensors on this thing I never questioned because they read data no problem and they were brand new Toyota, right? But I'm looking at them and I'm just like, what else can I look at? I pull up the part numbers. They're not even correct for the truck.
Yeah.
They're a Toyota part. They plug in, but they're not correct for the truck. So I went and got Densos, and that changed a symptom. It just, that thing was wild, man. Absolutely wild.
Somebody swapped in, because I know Toyotas, you could do that. They'd swap in like a regular old school oxygen sensor for where a wideband should have been.
It could have been, honestly. I didn't even check to see if they were wideband or not. I know the ones I put in were, but I didn't check by the part number to see if the old ones were.
20 years ago, this guy's talking about that. They'd get Toyotas and like certain build dates within the year. One would be supposed to be a wideband, or it could have been, depending on California emissions, all that jazz.
Actually, they had to be wideband because they were reading in a wideband fashion.
Yeah. So, yeah. Ryan, what's your kind of process when you get a car? So, like, you read the code or whatever, and you duplicate the complaint or whatever. What's your next step? What do you do?
Identifix. I want to go in and read. I'm not going to go in there and replace a part, obviously, because you guys know who I am now. But I'm going to go in there and read all the articles and see, is this? I've only been doing this a couple years. Is this something that happens all the time? Because I don't know.
I do it too.
That's my exact process every time too.
I had this one car. It was a Sequoia. And I had a bunch of airbag sensor faults, and this car had never been in an accident. And I plugged in my faults to Identifix, and it said, oh, down in the passenger footwell, there's 2 plugs that people mix up. I went there. Surely enough, they were mixed up. I fixed that car in 30 seconds. It would have taken that airbag module 3 hours to get to if I would have had to do testing there, or it had 2 different door sensor faults. I would have had to take both door panels off and the center console, and I fixed that car in 30 seconds. Like, that right there, I read through and find out, is this something that happens all the time, or is this something that I'm going to have to start tearing into? I think I'm such a huge proponent to Identifix in the right hands and Identifix out of the wrong hands.
Yeah. I know. Chuck and I have talked about that too, right? Like that program gets such a bad rap, but I mean, when it's used properly, it's the best tool you can have in your shop. I don't care what anybody says. I have fixed so many cars in my career with Identifix.
The word I learned from Chuck, I didn't even know what this word was pattern failures.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Mhm.
And it's impossible to know it all when you work on every brand.
Yeah.
I mean, guys that have been in a BMW dealership for 20 years know all the pattern failures. I don't know them on Dodge, Ford, Chrysler, Jeep,
Yeah.
Chevy, all these brands.
Yeah. Yeah. So are the guys then, Ryan? So
Not
the guys
sponsored.
in the shop, yeah, not sponsored. Wish they'd be a good sponsor for the podcast. They're really what I should try and meet with them.
You should try.
Yeah. So Ryan, do the guys at your shop follow the same process then? And is that how they fix in the cars when they don't have to roll it to you? No.
No, I'm the only one that diagnoses cars.
Right. But do they use
Everyone,
that to fix and try?
no, I'm the only one who has it.
Okay.
I'm the
One
only
guy
one who has
does use a power
access.
probe.
Yeah.
One guy does use a power probe very, very often.
So my coworker is my arch nemesis. We have hated each other since day one. We will never be friends. We will not look in the same direction. And the only way he knows how to diagnose a car is he'll spend hours checking fuses with a power probe. Just hear beep, 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 and he'll just go fuse to fuse. He thinks the fuse controls everything. And if it's not a blown fuse, then he doesn't know.
Then he doesn't know.
Yeah, nobody's diagnosing anything that doesn't have a fault that has the name of a part in it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I get it. What's that like to work with somebody though that you don't like? You have that much distaste for each other.
We keep a bay in between us, so we just don't interact ever.
It's tough, eh? That is really. I've had a guy like that.
And it's not me. My boss has assured me that it's everybody that's ever come to work, because this guy's been with my boss for like 30 years. And everybody that my boss has brought in, because he wants to be the best mechanic there.
Yeah. So he sees you as a threat. Yeah. And you expose him daily for what he really is, which is not, the greatest thing in the building. And yeah, that's got to be a really bitter pill for him to swallow, and he must hate it.
And he knows that I've only been doing this a couple years, and he's been doing it for like a decade or 30 years.
Yeah, he's like me. He's been doing it 30 years and thinks he's really smart. And then some young punk kid 4 years in was like, all over the internet famous and, one of the top
But that's a stretch.
No, but you know what I mean, though, right? A big
I'm also not young.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm the oldest one here. So trust me. Back in my day. I struggle with that. That's some of the biggest problems I've ever had in shops is in fixing the cars. It's being able to interact with the people. Being able to get along with them is really tough. Why does your boss keep him? Just because he's loyal?
Because if you give him a part to replace, he can do it.
Okay.
Efficiently. He does all that. So I told you that we have 3 different dealers that all they buy is Toyota and Lexus SUVs. And he just does timing belts like all day long.
Okay.
Like just timing belt, water pump, timing belt, water pump, timing belt, water pump.
Yeah.
Brakes. You give him something to replace, he'll replace it. He's just an asshole.
Yeah. Chuck, you're lucky you don't work with anybody really. Other than...
Yeah, I stopped babysitting a couple of years ago too. That was one of the best fucking decisions I ever made.
Yeah, oh man, I see. It kind of hurts me though. Like it doesn't hurt me, but I wish like you guys still have so much to offer, both of you, right? That I wish like there was some way. I mean, that's the beauty of this platform is you're still mentoring a lot of people. We'll go back to Brian Gauthier. I say Gauthier, I pronounce his name wrong because I pronounce it like a French Canadian because I am one. But he without this platform, where do you think Brian would be?
Still, well, he'd still be doing the same thing, but he wouldn't be. The other day, he snapped me and he said, "Man, you gave me the curse." He said, "I got wheel bearings to do on that, brake lines to do on that, and I think like oil change and tires on that one, and I really got to get those done. But all I want to do is look at the check engine light in the parking lot, So I think he would be missing that function had not having this. He'd probably he'd be more complacent in life. Actually,
I'm the same way, right? Like if you tell me there's a diag ticket and I've got to get through 3 other tickets first before I get to look at that diag ticket, I'm going to figure out like how to get through those 3 tickets real fast because I'm dying to know what's out there. What is it? That's the way. You got to put an axle in this Subaru, and then you like. fuck. Like, can we just like snap our fingers and pretend that we don't have to do that work? I really want to look at the check engine light, but that's real life, right? But when I think of those kids, like, we're so lucky we have this because, between like YouTube and TikTok and Paul Danner and all the guys you mentioned earlier, like without them, I don't know where this industry would be, because I know when I came into it, there was like, I never got training ever. And Ryan, like, did you get training outside of like online? Like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Not only did I not get paid for going to ASTA, I paid for it all myself.
Yeah.
So it cost me $4,000, flight, hotel,
Yeah.
taking a week off work.
Yeah.
It cost me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and go to Vision this year also.
Yeah, dude, I think that's both of you guys. Like, you're at that level where Vision is, and I say that wrong, because that's like trying to say that the training level is not as good at ASTA as it is at Vision, which is not the case. There's going to be some classes that were taught at ASTA that are going to be taught at Vision, but there's so much more variety at from what I hear at Vision. I'd never been. I think you both would really, really, really enjoy Vision. It's the OG of the shows, right? For 20 years, people back before there was Facebook on IATN, it was like the yearly thing to go to was Vision. So the top people, people that you've never even heard of, to just hang out in the circles and like fix incredibly, mobile guys that just go and fix like, nightmare after nightmare and never post. They attend Vision and they're sitting in the classroom with you, and you're like, who's that guy? Well, he's been, 30 years in some state fixing the most complicated shit forever. And he doesn't even he just knocks it out like it's not even there. He's just really refined killers. So, yeah, I hope to get there one day. I got the SEMA Apex thing coming up, and then Tools again in the spring. So, I don't know if I'll make it to another show between now and then. I feel where you are, because it's the same thing. Like, I'm not paying out of pocket. This platform allows me to make those trips, but I still I lose a week's pay when I go. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, my job's not paying me to go to SEMA. They're like, yeah, you can take as many days off as you want, no problem. Just give us but we're not paying you to be there. Like, I don't get paid time off, so it's like, yeah, it sucks that way, because you have to really budget then to the okay, how do I make this work? So, what's short-term goals, long-term goals for both of you?
You go ahead first there, Ryan.
Do you want to see yourself in business for yourself, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see myself doing what Chuck's doing, essentially.
Okay.
Mobile, diag, programming.
Yeah.
Cloning, that kind of stuff.
You got a plan.
Short term is just keep learning into what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chuck, you think he's ready?
Yeah, I think so. Well, actually, no, I definitely know so. I think the only thing is that I already have I built up enough of a customer base and also changed gears with my business at the right time, and then changed gears with my business again at the right time to be able to afford myself the luxury to spend the amount of time I do trying to learn a lot of the newer stuff that I'm doing, because I already have all the diags and programmings I'm going out for. So I know the money's there. The load cages are still selling constantly, so I'm very lucky to be able to, I mean, this, one of the things I love in my videos is saying how long I take on something that definitely shouldn't take that long for me. Right. I mean, this CM848, I probably got 30 hours into trying to learn how to do it. It's an $1,800 job, because that's what I quoted before I knew it was this complicated. I got $1,000 into a DRB and cables for it, but I'm lucky enough to be able to afford that time. Ryan still got his day job to pay for him getting stuck on the key that he's stuck on right now. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that, while I think he's ready, he has the opportunity to make himself even more ready being in the situation that he's in right now.
I mean, you can't ask for really better weather than Las Vegas. See, I'm already there. Los Angeles, California, to say where I'm going to go and do mobile, because you don't have snow. The guy I interviewed last night, he works mobile in Calgary, Alberta. It gets minus 60. 60 minus, like it, freeze your fucking ears off. Like
When it hits 60 here, I have thermals on under my clothes, and Chuck snaps me every day and says, "Ryan, it's not cold."
yeah, Ryan, 60 is not cold. It was 71 here today. So 60 is not cold. Like I took my shirt off in the afternoon. Like I didn't need it on at 71. Like 60 is not cold, Ryan. 60 is nice. But for you, yeah,
It's 75 and sunny right now.
you did.
Yeah, it's 56 degrees here right now.
So Ryan, can you give a timeline on when you think you're going to move into that realm?
See, I think I'm ready knowledge-wise, but
Right.
financially and customer base-wise, I'm definitely not. It'll be a year,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah. What are you going to do about your boss? I guess Chuck probably said the same thing. What you
I
would
bet
want
he
to do-
becomes my top customer.
I was just going to say that exact same thing. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, either he really ponies up some big money and gets you to stay, or gives you a stake in the business or something like that, or you just
I don't even think there's an amount of money he can get me to stay.
Yeah. But I mean, you could probably spend a full day there every week for the next infinity.
For sure.
With the amount of work that he's going to have and going to need even more, right? Like, yeah, good for you, man. So, what about you, Chuck?
When we talked at Tools, I said within 6 months I wanted to be doing module repairs and at-home programming and shipping modules out to people. And I mean, we're there, so
it's pretty cool.
We're there to the point where people are starting to tag me in comments as a way of advertising before I actually start putting links up on my webpage for this and stuff. This week I've done like 5 different mail-in modules. So
yeah,
short-term goals. This is I'm there. I'm in the thick of it right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you can up like Spaceship One, there we'll have we'll phase them out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing with a lot of these modules too is a lot of it is just having the ability to do it. That's something that if I find a kid that's interested in this aspect of the business, there's no reason I can't set him up down here with a laptop for a couple hours and say, hey, listen, I'm going to teach you how to clone this stack of modules and have at it,
No, so, me too, but kind of my final question, because I'll let you guys go. It's getting late. How do we fix this technician shortage, guys?
I truly don't know.
I've said it a bunch of times. I've raised labor rates, put that money but that like takes an entire industry shift. I understand that, but seriously, that would be the easiest fix: is raise the labor rates, give it to the techs, and then you have people that to make it. It's up to $20 an hour at Burger King right up the road from me. You can't get a entry level mechanics job at $20 an hour.
No, and we shouldn't even be trying to get him at $20 an hour. And the guys that go, I'll give him 22. Look at the amount of tools that Ryan spent on tools still and did starting out, right? Like if it wasn't for Ryan's living situation, he probably couldn't have bought that many tools. And then where would you be? You might be in a completely different realm, right? Like I'm going to say you got to start these kids at like $25 an hour. Or else you got
to in California, if you have your own tools, it's supposed to be double minimum wage, which is 30. So that someone told me that. I've never known that to be true, but I heard that it's 30 if you have your own tools in California starting as a mechanic.
I could tell you if that was a law here in New York and someone tried to go up to the labor board with it, they'd just
but also in California it's $800,000 for a 1-bedroom condo that's attached to the next door neighbor.
Right.
Oh, it's a little different in that aspect.
I'm so glad I don't live there. I mean, the weather, yeah, but everything else, no.
Like I pay $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. You can get a house almost anywhere east of me.
My mortgage and my housing costs don't add up for the month to $2,500, and that's mortgage. Like I'm 15 years in owning on this. I got 10 years left. Like, good on you, man. Really, I'd like to see you leave that state then, but if you love it, then you love it. There's nothing you can do. The technician shortage thing for me is like Chuck and I kind of talked about this. There's not really a shortage I mean, there's a shortage of young people that are necessarily picking it, but there's not a shortage of technicians right now. There's just a shortage of really, really good ones that a lot of people seem to be wanting to hire. You know, like when I talk to the people at Promotive, like they said, everybody that calls Promotive is trying to hire a diagnostic tech. They want a Ryan Mullen or they want a check engine Chuck, you know, and they can't seem to find one. Now, a couple reasons. Not everyone is as good as you guys. The other reason is a lot of them, if they are as good as you guys, they've already been burned out and they've gone to doing their own thing, you know. And that's where, look at Ryan. Ryan's a perfect example of that. He's getting ready to think about going to do his own thing. So I don't know what the shops are going to do to be able to keep you guys in the business and not becoming competition, you know, because it's, you know, the industry can't work if it's just a bunch of mobile guys that show up. Like, I mean, we do need people with skills in the shop, you know, but I don't know how they fix it because like business wise, I don't even think they know how to scale it so that they can make it work financially. So you either have to get them to, which I've said for years, stay in their lane, don't book that car in. Or if you do, you got to have that really hard conversation about this is going to cost like $6,000 to fix. And, you know, like look at your Toyota. You know, there's nobody else in your area, Chuck, that's going to tackle that and see it through. You know what I mean? So that's a tough one. It really is, right? And it's a lot of people. I told you give up on it. Like I said, yeah, just, you know, when you said it's a mechanical thing, I said, just fucking sell the guy an engine and move on. Collect your money. And look at how stupid we'd have looked. You know, we'd have looked like idiots. I mean, if that engine came with a new crank sensor, it would be fit.
I was just about to say, there's a chance the engine came with a new crank sensor and you
Right.
never would have known.
Yeah, nobody would none the wiser. But like, yeah, I mean, that's why I have so much respect for you guys because it's like I'm that way where I can just look at it and go, well, I know what it ain't, and you know, if you bolt this in, you'll fix it. But I'm because I'm not that way anymore, where I just have to know. You know, comes with age, I think. It's probably just,
I can't remember if it went in the bell housing.
Yeah, I think it's in the bottom of the bell housing, isn't it?
I think it,
so it's
so if they changed
no.
the engine, it wouldn't have came with a crank sensor, I think.
there you go then. Yeah, I'd have been a real fucking idiot then.
Wait.
No, I think it's in the block.
No, it's in the bottom of the block. It's in the upper oil pan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have came with a different crank sensor, the engine would have fixed it. And then I would have gone, see, it was a mechanical issue, and I learned nothing from it.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. I really want to do this. I'll tell you, if I go to Apex and Starship One is there, I'll be sure to like tell them how much they suck.
Nice,
and,
perfect.
And say that I have two really good friends that absolutely hate your product and won't use it. But I want to thank you guys for coming on. This was really, really cool. And like I said, I'm sorry we didn't get this done at ASTA, but it was just too hard to get everything lined up. Scheduling wise was tough, especially the last day was really tough. And Ryan, man, I am so impressed with like, I have to keep telling myself that you've only been doing this 4 years because the way people in our circles talk about you, including Chuck, but other people too. And then what I've seen, what you've been able to do, man, you're like I said, there's no ceiling for you. The trajectory that you're really cool. And I mean, I love, you're aligned with me on everything. Like, you don't like the flat rate thing and, you're a big Paul Danner fan. And I mean, that what I hope is that like at some point I can see you guys doing content for Paul. That's what I really want to see. Cause I think that's like, I kind of know Paul's long-term plan. And that's what it is to be able to hand it off to, be able to have, it's just a name, it's his name, but other people will be able to get a lot more of their stuff on there. And I think like you guys need to make that some kind of, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you're really missing out and the world is missing out that doesn't know about you too, because you're not on his channel and vice versa. Right. Like this is the whole thing with me is people like, oh, I don't want to be on TikTok. Why? If I was never on TikTok, I wouldn't know this, you two, and I wouldn't be having this conversation, and I wouldn't be so impressed by both of you. So
another long-term goal I have is to make more content.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to make content. I'm trying to put together a class on picoscopes just because I think I know enough tricks to put together a pretty good lesson, better than anything I've seen. So I've been like taking notes on what I put in it, and I'm working on that right now. And I'd like to make more content, but like when I get off work and go live immediately after that. I used to record TikToks after after I got done working, but now I go live every night and it takes up all my time.
Yeah.
And I really like the live thing. Like I have fun on there hanging out with a bunch of people working on cars. So I got to find time to make content and record actual videos.
I know Chuck has talked about at one point he wants to do a class as well, and I think you guys both like make that a goal of yours to be able to at some point teach a class. Because my buddy Brian Pollock, like 5 years ago, Brian would have never thought he'd be teaching a class, and now his is one of the most popular classes that when it comes up to be taught, people are there. And you guys are every bit as popular. You would get the same kind of response, especially even with the younger people. That's the key right now, right? Is like the younger people know who you guys are. And that's what's key, I think. And that's what I want to thank you guys for, is being such outstanding examples of what professionals in industry do and look like and act like. And, thank you for that. So
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I adore the heck out of both of these. I think you guys are great. So
it's always a blast. Yeah.
So I guess we're not going to see you at Tools probably then, are we, Ryan? You're not going to come all the way from LA up to Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's a bit of a trek, eh?
That's the thing, is I can't take work off
Yeah.
twice in a row. Like Vision and ASTA are like March and September, so it's like 2 ends of the year.
Yeah.
But 2 back to back. I mean, unless I'm working for myself and I'm super successful and I've got work coming out of everywhere and I'm making money hand over fist, then I would do it. But with what I'm doing now, I can't do 2 back to back.
And if you get to where you're teaching a class there, guess what? Then you can kind of make the excuse that you got to go to more of them because you're teaching.
Yeah.
And
if anything, Apex, I mean, Vegas is 3-hour drive from me.
Yeah.
45-minute flight. That's easier than Pennsylvania, but.
Well, I'll be in Vegas for my birthday for Apex and SEMA. I'll be turning 50. I'll be there on
what's your birthday?
November 4th. So
mine's the 6th.
Dude. Then
there we go.
That settles it. You gotta go. You could be in the jail cell right next to me. So.
I'm down for that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, everybody that's been listening. I love you all. This has been a really fun night, and I can't wait to see everybody that's going to be at SEMA and Apex. And you never know, you might bump into Ryan while he's there. So, Chuck, I probably won't get a chance to see you now until Pennsylvania, but I look forward to it. Be talking to you guys very soon. So, thank you, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Have a great night, guys. Love you all. Ciao.